some exciting things to come, but for now, it's episode 26. All this coming up in 27 and 28. We're going to start the electronics build. Let's get on with the car for now. Ooh, you were well stuck down there. You see the camera fly up then? Right, what we're doing. Fast forward, of course, that clip. Just getting or losing as much of that join line as we can. We put the alley soft in it, and that's pushed into any pinholes that might have been there. And then we go over with a crock at first, then some 80 paper just to rough it up. Don't forget Gravitex is going on. It might well be Gravitex now as opposed to Raptor. I might want to stick with what I'm familiar with, so we'll see. So you can see that there's you can see it better in your light than mine. You see those imperfections. We're now going to go back over those with some finer filler and just do the best that we can this side as well. Same procedure. Just losing it. There's a point where we're not going to get it here, I think, without substantial filling down there. Can you see that? Like a rib in it. Rib in it, in a rib. So there's only so far I'm prepared to go with this. I don't mind about making this absolutely mirror friendly. I've never really gone for the mirrors under the car. That's just... it would mean I couldn't use it. I'd like to do it. I respect people who do, but it means I wouldn't be able to use the car because you go to that effort where a mirror can go under there. There's no way it's practical. Not in high mileage usage anyway. Of course you can drive it, but battering it through the Scottish Highlands or down to Cornwall or the motorway, anything really. High speeds and stuff like that. Low terrain, when you go on your adventures and things, you're going to be getting the odd scratch and dent under here, as indeed Ruby and Swampy do, and my green GXL Tina G all take little hits from time to time underneath the cars. And if I went to a crazy level here, I think I'd miss my hopeful target for this car, and also I'd just fret about damaging it. So I just want to make it Gravitexed or stone guarded or Raptored, tough. And if you did go to all this time to fill every imperfection till it's like this finish, then the Gravitex or any stone guard, whatever I said, goes over, well, it's, I think, not a good use of your time because you've spent another extra week on it and gained nothing. I don't know, it's a tricky one that. I mean, it's up for debate where you think I'm coming from on that. Suffice to say that that's my level. Okay, where you can just see where it would have joined, but that's going to be it, and I'm happy with that. It doesn't keep me awake. I live with that because it ticks the particular quality box that I've set my level to. Alright, hope that explains it. So we're carrying on. We're nearly ready to get some Etch Primer on. You can see we're using dolphin glaze on here to level the chassis run out, simply because it's an easy thing to do, and just pour on a little bit more to go. And then, because there was a couple of little dents and some surface pitting in that, and that was an easy job. Okay, we're closing up there, looking good, getting ready for paint. So I'll carry on doing a little bit more. Crocky's your friend here. Block sand it as well later on, scotch pad it up, and then we're good to go there for some paint. We stop here because this is body coloured paint. That's a high prep area. We'll get that really nice and shiny. But we can carry on up to this point because they're just under the wheels. Stepping back for you. So we're nearly done, and then this is body shop terrain. So my department finishes on this transmission tunnel flange edge, bulkhead to lower. Here we go, more going on then. Last few steps then before we get this completely covered in paint. Okay, I can now take advantage of the spinner, bring this down just like this. God, why do I talk like Larry the Lamb? What this enables us to do, if I use a little bit of liquid fill there, it'll puddle in an almost level plane. We're going to go very neat just up to there because this is a visual area, and actually here's quite good. So I'll probably just try and lose a little bit of that. Little bit of OCD getting me now. Oh! Hell yeah! We're going to lock that just about where we need it. Locking bolt at this end. Push with your foot. Almost level. Lock. And you're good to go. Oh, hang on, look a bit more. How are we looking there? That's the one. Okay. I'll now just glaze that in. I'll show you the glaze going on. It's good stuff, I've shown it to you before. That'll just help us, and we'll do exactly the same operation but for that side, and just go in there and finish that. Let's mix some up. Let's mix it. Just helps, just give that last little detail. Body shop people out there, forgive me if this isn't how you do it. I'm still learning body filling techniques. How you get it so that it doesn't leave little lines when the spatula runs across, I'm not quite sure. But I think we'll achieve the desired result. Just there, we get them lines. I don't know, when you use this and drag it, there'll be a technique for that out there. You'll be able to tell me what it is on YouTube, I'm sure. With that, I say with that glaze, as long as you don't add the activator too quick or too much, you get a bit more time before it starts to cure with the catalyst, but it works. So we're only going up to there. It'll just help. It's not going to take that much longer to put that on. So you can see it in your lens pooling a little bit, which is what we wanted. It'll just help. Quite sort of strangely satisfying. I'm not a bodywork man, but strangely satisfying. Yeah. What do you reckon out there? Is it time for a break? So right, I'll leave this running now for an hour. You can watch this for an hour, setting if you want. Time for a break. Just leave your screen on like a pointless screensaver. Okay, mask off, dusty job. I think I've got most of the dents that I want out, and I've just put this guide coat on so I can see any more. It's well, I say guide coat, it's acting as a guide coat. It's Etch Primer. Gone a few little dents that might have been in these, a couple of little dents in the floor pan I've filled in. We've had the DA sander on it, just using a combination of Easy Sand, U-Pol Easy 1 and Dolphin Glaze, and these 80s, then going down to 120, and that's it, I'm done. This is now, we're just going to blow this down with the air gun and then just get some sticky rags, tacky rags on it, just to wipe off any grease that might be on there, and then that's it. It's getting ready for its a gun mix of, oh, it always, this word never comes out. What? Etch Primer in the gun. Once the Etch Primer's in the gun, then it's seam seal time. Then it's Technogrip time. And that's it. We had another go at doing that line there. So I'm just going to put the rattle can on that. What I do is any patch that I've done, I'll rattle can over it, so when you put the main gun on, you're not having to go over that area already. It's easier just to do one pass then with the gun, otherwise you tend to have your gun over these patches. So it's equivalent, exactly the same. It's in the gun, but in a rattle can to do this last repair. This is the last bit I've done. Easy Sand on, then a little bit of Dolphin just to finish it off. I'd already gone over that area, but I wasn't happy with it, so I've gone back. Doesn't matter because we're still in paint stage. Okay, so that's the end of it really. I got a little bit, I upped my requirement a little bit and went a little bit posher on the underside. I thought, well, you might be thinking I've cut a corner. You've done all that work and then you've not really paid any attention to the straightness of the floor. Even though they're new, they got bashed about, didn't they? And we knocked them into shape and the whole floor was welded in, so I think we've done well to get that far in a short space of time and looking quite neat. Good enough for our quality level. That's where we're at. We're ready to load the gun up and get the first coat of Etch Primer on this middle section. And we've only got the front to do. Here we go. Okay, sorry for the silence there. I'm just going to dub over that when we're doing the seam seal and the painting. Well, there we go. Another momentous occasion in the stage of the build, in the story of the car so far. We get the Technogrip paint on, just on top of the acid etch primer. You see how I delay every time that word just doesn't want to go into my head. Etch primer. Okay, so that goes down. We took our time, just giving it even passes with the gun, so nothing runs. Gun, run. Oh help! Gun, run. Yeah, I'm not a painter. You know that, and I've told you, but it ain't too bad. It ain't too bad. No runs, and you can't quite see the join. Did we get away with it? More or less. I can pick it out if I want. It's a little bit pitted on that. It's funny how the paint brings that up. I thought it might do, but that's about the same effect as the stone guard. So it's only really, there's no point. I could have really gone to town and filled this. There you go. The line was around that. You can just see it. But we'll accept it. We will. It's the underside of the car. So there you go. We're coming to the end of another big part of the film. We now focus our attention to just tidying up this. I've got to get this back to... Why do my feet keep hitting things? I've got to get that back to metal. Got Foss Clean for that. And just a little bit, touching up, a couple of welds, not a lot. A real walk in the park, really, up this end. Going to be a pleasure just to finish off the car up this end. Okay, it really will be a pleasure to do. The seam sealing went on nice, double S's, seam sealing went on nice. I'll leave the little bits because it looks fractured when they withdraw the nozzle, it drags a little bit. We'll leave them, they're alright, don't worry about those. That's how it is. So, pretty good. Tried to get all the dust out of the air. I'd never use this place to paint. Proper finish, it always goes to the body shop. For this type of job, it's fine for your amateur painter to go. Mask was on all the time. It's been 2 hours and the doors were open. We had plenty of breathing. I didn't feel any effects of any fumes, so I was happy with that. Didn't feel high as a kite or anything like that. Mask on when we're doing the seam sealing as well, because that seam sealer gives out some pretty hefty fumes. And don't forget to put your lid back on your gun thinners, otherwise that'll leach into the garage overnight and get that paint smell. I'm glad to draw a line under the filling. It made such a dusty mess. We've had to vac up, brush up, clean up, and it's still everywhere. So now that the messy jobs are finished on the car, we can at some stage roll it out, and then I'll dust out my garage because it's completely covered and it needs all making nice again. And here now we've done the project, so we'll get everything looking back to how it was. Alright, but for now I'm going to go and celebrate with a couple of Peronis and some roast chicken that I'm going to cook. So brilliant, I'm so made up. It's come out good. We'll see you soon, if indeed it's the end of the episode, and we'll see you in 26, and we thank you for your support on Patreon and YouTube as always. Cortina City, we did good. Hope you enjoyed this. What a way to finish, if it indeed is finishing. Hasta la vista, baby. We'll see you for new beginnings. A little bit of tidying up at the front, and then we'll move on to the suspension clip, engine, exciting stuff like that. We're going to take a break. 25, there's going to be a pause. We'll still be carried on Patreon, but on YouTube there's going to be a pause. So the rest of the news I'll put on Patreon. There is going to be a break now. We've reached this milestone. We're well ahead of the game, so YouTube's going to take a little rest just for video uploads. I'm going to put photos up on Patreon, and I'll start the videos in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks time. Going to have a rest and holiday, have a break. We'll catch you sometime in July. Over and out for now. Keep watching the channel. If you really do want to support, come across to Patreon. It's all about Patreon just helps me to make these films, gives me the inspiration. That's why I've made so many, because Patreon's been keeping me going. That's how it works. You're always welcome on YouTube, no obligation, of course. We welcome any viewers, YouTube or Patreon. But it does help to keep YouTube going, and vice versa. Over and out. Okay, so we're carrying on with all these little detailing bits now down here on the roof. Now that you've got it upside down, it's a lot easier to work on. These plug welds are on the end of this quarter, get them down nice, and a little bit of infill there to finish them off. Body Shop can do that if they want. This one I'll probably do this fill myself, and this fill here I'll probably do myself because it's upside down, a lot easier to do. You can work on it. Little bits of cleaning up, so we just keep going round now in a circuit, round the car looking. A little bit to do in the engine bay, I'll take you over there in a sec. Some little work we can do inside as well. Little bits of cleaning up, so we just keep it going round and round and round. Yeah, so that's that cleaned up. Dolphin for that, and you can see if I get the light does detach. Well, it won't today, it does unclip. Down here is that, remember that A pillar join that we did? That one's taken down now. So we got the weld through on there, and now we're just going to take that off. So I was able to weld that in this position as it is now. I'll step back so we can see exactly the angle that we're working on. Again, the rotisserie coming into play. So much easier to do your little repairs this way, and you can go around and inspect things that you might have missed when it was upside down, or when it was the right way up. View over the floor pan, looking tidy. It was yesterday when this paint went on. From the end then we'll stand, you can look at it there, quite a good shot too. What a beautiful piece of work we've done. I'm sure you'll all agree that that's a tidy bottom to the car. A nice tidy plump rear end, if that's how you like them. A little bit of meat, or maybe on the lean side, whatever's your back. A nice chassis. Look at the chassis on that. Beauty. Carrying on, and then we go down. Now we take you down to the front end where we start to find that we've got some of the missing welds that we couldn't get when we were repairing the front, simply because it was upside down. So clean back, some flash rust in there. This wants the phosphate B on that, and then I'll just give it a nice sand down, and we'll carry on the paint just under that section, and just in these sections here, a little bit of tidying up to do. That just wants knocking in. See, that's away from the face. I'd like that tapping in. We're tidy down this end. We're all tidy here, because we did all this work. How we did it when it was that way up, I don't know. Well, I don't know who did this. I don't remember doing it. Yeah, I do. Seems ages ago, but it's only 6 months when we'd started at this end and pushed our way back. Ended up doing the whole car. Again, another view. So lead me to these little small repairs. Weld will be coming out in a minute so we can get these plugged. And we're running out of things to weld, that's for sure. I'm starting to struggle to find anything to weld. I think that's the end of the spot welder you can wave spot welder goodbye. He's done his job. We're going to clean him down, give him a nice clean up, and then wrap him and put him away into storage. Unless anyone wants to borrow it, let me know. If you need a spot welder, I'll lend it to you. We're going to put some paint in here. I'm going to let the paint, because it's upside down, I've got some nice zinc rust proofing paint. I'm going to pour that into this lip and let it creep right in it, because that's vulnerable, that lip, certainly isn't it? I'll run a very thin seam seal over that. That's handy to have upside down. That's one of the big things you need to do when the car's upside down. This under lip here. Remember, that's brand new. We formed this. New tangs on there. Oh, bit of a tune. Hang on. No, I'm not very good. Don't put me on the xylophone. A little bit of dolphin just to hide that very small remainder of that joint when we put the new nose cone on. Little bits around there, just touching up. Gravitex will blitz this area. Here I can pour paint in. I don't know if the camera can pick it up. That triangle shape, the triangle of doom, we'll fill that with paint as well. So just a nice position to be in, really, where you can have a tidy-ish workshop. You're not getting overrun now with mess. It's just little jobs, and you can just hack away at them, take your time and take it easy. We're really cruising now. The back certainly being broke, the shell certainly approaching 90 to 95% completion. Just the door gaps and the wing bonnet gaps to do. We'll spend probably a couple of weeks doing those door gaps. I'm curious about the gaps, especially on the doors, because I'll take you around to one of the doors. We need to do further investigation on this door situation. Whatever happens, we can cure it. But the distance between this swage line, let's say we go from here, the wing to the sill, in theory, if it's the door, it should have the same distance, less a 5mm gap. So that, but this door, the doors are short. They just don't have that much distance. Look, from there to there, that's lined up, and you get this. I don't know why that is. I don't know why the gaps are so big. We can add weld rod to them if we want and bring them doors out. Quite an easy job to do if you want to get perfect gaps. We may be doing that. But that swage line is in line. So, hang on. You know, how come you get that much? And the sills are correct. It's just the way it is. I don't know. We'll find out and we'll get it fixed no matter what it is. Leave it to me then. I'm going to carry on doing little bits. Here we go. Little touch-ups. Okay, ground down and fast forward for you. Tell you what I was pleased with, the quality of the spot welds on the roof. It was really, for a minute I thought they'd have changed that, thinking they were Ford's spot welds. Quite impressed. Really factory look. Okay, we need to dolphin glaze these now just to skim them in. Because the car's upside down, that is why we're doing these type of jobs, cleaning up anything to do with work that's upside down. As I said, anything we can find, we go looking and searching out. Over there on that B pillar we've done it, same as well, ground back, almost seamless, but it'll still need a little minor skim. This side almost seamless, just need a little touch, a little 1-2 buckle my shoe for those areas. Let's get some glaze mixed. We'll apply it now. Just liquid fill for this. Okay, well, another full day's prep, getting rid of any joins. You can see down here we've gone over that with Etch Primer, and that's left now. I'm going to be careful because it's not waterproof Etch Primer, but that's done. That's for the body shop to take over because that's body side colour, so I don't really want to be putting any more paint on than they have to. I'm going to talk to the body shop guys about whether this primer is going to be okay to leave without another coat, so I'll ask them the question on that. But we've done some of the work for them. Down here a seam seal goes in because it's a common rot spot behind this lip, and I don't think they used to seam seal this. They might have done later on. Anyway, that's got it on. I definitely didn't think they seam sealed down that bulkhead panel. I think it's worth doing. A little bit of repair there, ground that well down, those were ground down, a little bit of fill in there to sand down, a couple of little touches to do there. All in all, we're getting ready. I'm just going to squeeze it, it's right up against the garage door, I'm going to squeeze past. I'm just going around and looking for stuff, as I said. Here we've got the dolphin glaze on, we're going to sand that back once that's set, gone off, cured, hardened, whatever you want to call it. So, we're running out of things. Oh, we've got some welds to do down there to grind off. Then plug welds for that wing. Once we're done, we've run out of seam sealers. I would have carried on, but I'm out of seam sealer now, so I'll have to stop the seam sealing operation. But once we're done in the engine bay, for any job that's upside down, we then will get the vehicle back on its dolly jig. It's going to come off the spinner and go back on the dolly jig for door gapping. I could do with getting in here and getting the phosphate B on this panel. That's going to be difficult to do. I'm going to have to get a toothbrush on it, and it's going to take an hour to clean that back. We're at a debatable point whether it's worth sending it to get media blasted, because we've covered virtually every panel ourselves, so really I think it's going to be a waste of time, except for the back wings. One of the back wings, but you could bring that up with a machine. Again, it's up to the body shop. It was originally going to get re-blasted back, but every panel I've done's already been blasted. That, for example, floor pans, everything, because of the dip and stuff. And this Techno grip, originally I was going to take it back off, but you want to try and get it off. It doesn't want to come off. It's just keyed into that clean metal from the dippers. So Techno grip sticks like stuff on a blanket to clean dipped metal. So especially if it's got a little bit of a rough texture to it. So there's not really much for the blasters to actually do. I could send it in for just localise and say, right, do the back valance. He's got to do the bonnet, the wings and the doors. So it's an argument whether we're going to take the shell or just the panels, and I'm going to hand work these panels here. It's only really the back quarter wing that was never blasted. It really should have. If I'd have blasted that back quarter wing, I wouldn't have had to take anything back. We're going to have to see. It may be that I can get a machine on that, a hand tool that'll do it just as good. Bare metal it with a wire brush, I'm sure we can do it. these parts underneath here that were going to be media blasted, I'm going to scrub them out because there's nothing to actually take off. It's not like you're blasting off old paint, which is what normally happens at the blasters. This is just to get it back to the steel. Well, the phosphate does that. This, for example, here will go back to shiny, dead quick. Just scotch pad and phosphate with some gloves and a mask and you're off. Underneath here is ready to have stone chip applied. The wings, as I said, even though they're stripped, we could send them to get blasted. So it's a couple of questions I'm going to have to ask myself exactly how I'm going to move, but it's getting to that stage where all the messy jobs are getting done and all the grinding is going to be finishing, so we can clean up again for the last time. And then other than doing gaps, the welder's not even going to be used much. We might need it for some gapping. If we have to cut any panels, we'll see. The gapping's going to be probably the trickiest bit. We're looking forward to it though. It's a good challenge. Another day prepping upside down, over and out from me for now. I'm getting tired, as you can probably tell. I start to just phase out and flake out. My voice just starts to go and I just think I've got to get in. When you start trudging around on the floor, you think, oh, it's time for dinner, it's time for a relax. Colopronis, a root beer, who knows? Tomorrow.
On the last Friday of the month, feeling like the king or queen of the world. It feels pretty good, doesn't it? We can help you achieve that this week with a massive 40,000.
He's back by popular demand. You look like Biggles. Look at him. Adam's family's here. What's he going like, Sean?
Well, I've done that bit there. We've got the weld bits of weld.
Oh, right, that's where I did that that vent repair. Oh yeah, no, nice shot
That needs a spot weld onto there.
Okay.
I'm just going to do that side.
Right, great. I never really took that off. I don't know why that's not on that weld. It's not been. That's factory. Oh well, I'll do that. Yeah, okay. Looking good. We cleaned up underneath with a Foss clean.
Yeah.
We give Sean the jobs we love to hate. Okay. There we are, to go and recycle the metal. Half a Bramble's in the back of the Mondeo estate. We've got a warp brake disc as well. Got to get that sorted out. It's shaking. Shaking, Sean. Sean's with us. We'll dump that metal. I reckon we banged that clip up at you on the train, Sean. You know, was it 93 when we went to that Earl's Court or that arcade exhibition?
Yeah.
And you was, we were on the train, weren't we? Did we go in the estate car and leave it in a lay-by?
Yeah.
I have to find that clip. 90s, early 90s. Soon goes. What was that? That was the end of that. Oh, I remember cutting this piece off. Oh well, it came in handy. Which bit? Oh, that's a bit of. That's a bit. Hang on. That is the Portuguese repair section for the front. Hasta la vista. This is the creme de la creme of Bramble scrap metal. That is the creme de la creme. It's everything. Chassis like there, might be able to use that for something. I remember that. Oh dear. Sure I can still use that. I'm sure I can. It's too late! It's too late! Things are moving really quick. The clip is on its nice little clip dolly, so I can push it around wherever I need it to be. We're going to start stripping this pretty quickly, pretty soon. Gearbox is down here, not the one I'm going to use, just my test bed gearbox for getting alignment of the mounts onto the transmission tunnel. A cylinder block there, bell housing, so we put all that together. We get all these bits off the clip so that we can then bolt the clip into the bay. Obviously we'll get this off the rotary and onto the dolly jig. Too high up there to be getting my gearbox mount points sorted. So a little bit of multitasking going on, and at the same time with the multitasking we get ready to drop off the seat bases to the trimmers, giving us an opportunity just to see the condition. And we are okay on the top back seat rear. Could have tried to start to rot through, but it survived. It was having a go there. We're going to wire brush, just lightly wire brush that down. Okay, nothing too heavy on that. Outside then for the rest of the seats, starting to break down, but so far survived. Gonna need a bit of a clean up. I'm going to get the compressed air on them first, just so that when we take them to the trimmers that they're not covered in spiders' webs, bits of debris, dust and gunge. So I grab the air hose, go outside, blast them down, because I'm just in the process of loading them into the car. So this section of the video now goes multitask and switches to various different jobs, and this is where all those juggling balls are up in the air now. We're juggling. When we was on the shell just doing welding, it was reasonably straightforward. It was quite a linear progress. Here now, with these kind of bits of trim, bolts to galvanise, starting to do all those kind of things which require outsourcing, it then becomes that juggling game which we've mentioned in the past. Okay, in terms of shot blasting the bonnet, shot blasting the wings, shot blasting the doors, talking to the paint guys, talking to the galvanisers, talking to the powder coaters, all those kind of things, and making sure we've got all our bushes ordered, all our parts for the suspension, the spacks, the springs, all these items that we did very similarly on Project Ruby, we now undertake on Project Bramble. So it's been a case the last few days of gathering everything together, which is exactly what I've been doing, and then making the calls to the various people. We've got chromers to ring, plastic chrome and metal chrome. We've got paints to get mixed, fabric to pick up, all sorts of things. So let's keep going with that. Apologies that it's all over the place, but I think it makes for exciting viewing. You never know what's going to be coming next on these next few episodes. Let's get the compressed air now and clean them seats down and load them in the car. Just makes it easier when the trimmer gets it. He's not messing his workshop up, just so not to insult him. Ruby seats then, Bramble seats then. Load them into the car. We can see damaged material here, but the foam bolster itself has not been eaten or anything, it's just been exposed. There's plenty of foam still in there, it hasn't chunked it away. Same on this side, we're still intact there. Should squeeze together. I have got some spare bolster tops if we need them, off some stripped down seats we had. We'll have a look how that goes. Let's get these in the car. Okay, just continuing multitasking as you spot things, as you're doing jobs. Just told you we're doing that, we're doing that, we're doing other little things. But as you're going around, the shell's just flipped round this way at the moment. I'm thinking you haven't cleaned underneath the slam area. Now it was dipped, as you know, but it forms, can you see down there? It forms flash rusting whilst it's in the workshop. Slowly but surely your dipped shell, untreated that is, will form a flash rust. So all you do is you Foss Clean B this and then finish off. I just use a scotch pad with Foss Clean and then I finish off with this one. This is Salt X DTS. Again, it's another, well, they call it Clorox, is better off. I get it from Rust Buster again, all the stuff from them. If you go on the Patreon site you get a discount code. That's good for finishing off the metal once you're done with your Foss Clean. Neutralises back, washes the last of the residue off, so you're totally clean and ready for your etch prime. I've spent quite a bit of time cleaning that up, and now I'm going to go and do the same down there. It's a bit harder to get into, and again up at the top that piece is ready to be etch primed. Then we put the Ford on it again, the brown Techno grip. Just little things I've been marking out. I've got some 8mm holes to drill. This little reminder label there, these take the wiring harness and they take the fuel line across, and they're on 8mm pipe and hose clips and 8mm Amiga clips. Little, the sort of shape of an Amiga, shape, Greek alphabet, 8mm. All the way along there, 2 rows of them. Mustn't forget to put them in because you want them in before you paint. Okay, and the copy panel does not come with those fitted, so you just go and check where they are. Typically they're spaced out all the way along, and then you can see here's one of the 8mm holes ready to receive the fuel line clip, because the fuel line comes in on this side of the shell, over on this little bump, inside, across, down and across to reach the carburetor inlet for an overhead cam engine. Overhead valve stops on this side, I think. So that's it for that. We get little ideas as we're just walking around, and then you've got to drop things and do it, because otherwise it's going to be one of the things that could slip the net. We don't want that. The underside of this battery tray, I wish I would have took the Magnum car panel's black finish off it, because it's flaked off around this area there, and it's flaked on. It's not flaked off at that end, it's flaked off here. Really I could do with removing all that, but that's hard to get to. Should have done that first. That's a mistake. We need to see just if that's just in one area where it's come off, or it's going to try and come off everywhere. I don't know. Battery tray there, watch out for that one. A few little bits of filling to do around here to neaten it up. We don't have to do that. We're Body Shop are happy to do it, but everything that I do saves a bit of money. Alright, it's time to get the etch prime on just that section, then to do the other outside 2 pieces. May not do them today, might just go for that bit now. Alright, and I'm probably allowing it, clearing a space and flipping back to the clip. It is going to be a little bit disjointed in terms of the subject matter that we're on, because I'm kind of like beginning to juggle everything around. Okay, so Okay, we bring you up close up. We bring you close-ups of the clip. We're going to start stripping this down, clip strip. There's always a little poetic couplet for you. These start to loosen up. We've got the plus gas on there, kindly supplied by Paul Underground, doing the plus glass, doing the plus gas. This is good stuff. We do like to use this. It helps a lot. We've had that on, as I say, thanks to Paul. We've applied that a couple of weeks ago, and we've just been letting this clip cook in its juices of plus glass. Did I say glass? Plus gas. Just breaking into the threads and just evening things up and loosening things up, ready for this strip down. So I'll just step back a little bit for you so you can see what's going on. We've got the clip ready to go. First thing I'll start doing is all the small little parts. We've got a flexi brake hose here, take that off. Get the calipers off. We'll take off the front wheel bearing, cap off there, and then there's a castle nut that comes out. We'll get the wheel bearing off, and then we'll get the hub off. We'll get the brake disc off, both sides. Starting to break into it and push this way into the clip. What we want that to be is in complete component form. And then all the bits can go into the tub, ready for the galvanizers to do the magic with the gold zinc passivate. And then the rest of the parts, the wishbones and the clip itself, the main structure, all gets powder coated in black. Steering column, steering rack to be discarded, but we've got to take it off first. Anti-roll bar to go into powder coat. Brake calipers, we'll send them off to Big Red for rebuilds. We make a note and we keep these brake hose, brake pipe, brake lines. There's the hose, there's the brake line itself. Those shapes, critical to keep these shapes for us to copy later on. We're going to be making exact copies of them. This is actually quite a nice brake pipe run. Whether it's original I don't know. It's certainly, if it was a replacement brake pipe, they've done a very good job of it, because it's following the contours and picking up all the fixing points correctly. So that brake pipe itself is well done. We've got to make sure that we keep all those for reference material for templates. So I go round, familiarise myself with this clip. I have done them before a few times, but it's always good to refresh the memory before we start out. Make a good video record of how the clip is untouched, straight off Bramble, not been molested since 1983. So a great record of what was the assembly in 83. Of course, by that time the car was what, 14 years old, 70 to 83, yeah, could have been 12 to 14 years old anyway, and it could have had parts replaced at that point, more than likely the flexi hoses, but who knows, it may not have done. And anyway, we have a copy on video of how a clip from Bramble was extant. We've got a couple of things to do for the procedure. We've got to make sure that we take stuff off in the right order, and that we eventually end up taking the springs out, which are under tension. There's a lot of kinetic energy stored here at the moment. We need to be taking the shock absorber out from these bolts underneath. The shock absorber bolts are just underneath there. The camera may or may not bring in an exposure. You'll just see right in the centre of your screen two bolts that hold the bottom of the shock tab on there under the lower wishbone. We replace that shock absorber with a special tool which we've made up based upon Ford's tool, and it's essentially a screw jack which fits in replacement of the shock and keeps the set tension that we've got now, and we're able to actually compress it up, take the tension off the spring, release the wishbone bolts, then begin unwinding the tool so that we slowly drop the lower wishbone away and let that tension off gradually. It's difficult to disassemble a clip without using that tool. It can be done. You can use spring compressors. You can also just go for it and risk a bit of a showdown with the spring. Can be done. However, it's more controllable with the tool. And I'll take you across to the tool now. Just waiting in the wings. It's here. I've used it on Ruby last time. Something I made up myself a few years ago. Essentially comprises of a screw thread, and that's all really it is, replacing the shock absorber, and that's it. It goes where the shock would go. You then start to unwind, and it allows you to release that wishbone, which, as I said, is under a hell of a lot of tension. That's all part of stripping this clip down. I call it a clip. It's really a front suspension subframe, but it's in slang terms is referred to it as a clip. Mk3 Cortina front clip, but Mk3 subframe. It's all about stripping this down now so that we can get the parts away for zinc passivate and away for powder coating, and also, more importantly, so that we can free up the actual subframe itself, so that we can go over here and build up this little kit of parts just in the corner. Bell housing goes onto the cylinder block. Middle section of the gearbox goes onto the bell housing. Then a little tail section, which is missing at the moment, slots onto there, and the tail section itself is where the actual cross member mount goes. Then we find out who's behind the curtain and mark our points on the shell to get the A4 box, which is not fitted on Cortina Mk3s, but we like to fit it because it's a 3-speed with overdrive and torque converter lockup. We've covered that system, tried and tested in Project Ruby, already out there with 20k miles on it. I've had a couple of faults, but nothing major. We've had a kickdown problem recently on it. We weren't really sure why that happened. That's another story. A4 box to go in, cruise control on the gearbox, speed sensor on the gearbox, overdrive torque converter lockup on it, all the goodies. For that reason, I want that clip out, powder coated into here, so we can start setting up the actual exact positions to mount the box, the actual cross member mounts. On the tripod you go, as we start to strip down the clip. What you've got there, nice bit of some nice chips and beans.
Chips and sauces.
Nice. Oh, let's see if they've improved the chips down there recently. I know, oh, you're not doing the salt and vinegar anymore.
I don't have much salt on now.
No. I'm not bad.
Well, Banks has improved, he's got new hair.
Have you tried it?
Yeah. Puck's gone, he's renting it out now.
He had that some years, didn't he?
And apparently this fella was alright.
Yeah, but have you tried it? You actually tried a portion of chips from there yet?
I have, now do alright.
Right, that's got to be good if you say. You're the chip connoisseur. See, they haven't got rid of the plastic forks yet, they better get onto it. Well, they've got to switch to cardboard containers though. They're banning all the plastic containers, aren't they?
Yeah.
Good on them.
It's one I've not got around to them yet.
using up the stock, or it's not in force yet. See, Norman's got some new rides up. Well, he's taken over the go-kart track, hasn't he?
No.
All that front, he's got a crash test dummy ride up there, roller coaster. Something crash test or something it's called. And then, well, the big wheel's gone. He was obviously only borrows it, doesn't he? He needs some more adult rides. Blackpool's got a new coaster, the Icon.
I wonder what they took away then.
No, they've oh, I think something did have to move, but it's...
Well, because they can't expand.
Yeah, I think they've threaded it through, like... I think it like goes crisscrosses between the Pepsi, what was it called? Traumatizer.
Ah, the...
But they've called it something else.
There's a bottle of water featuring track. That's where it was supposed to originally be, was Blackpool the Traumatizer, but because they didn't have the room at the time, so Drake will have just put it up at Southport for a bit until we can find some what we're going to decide to take away.
Is that what Thompson said?
Yeah.
Was that the biggest taking ride?
Oh, yeah. Well, Casablanca's was supposed to be a two-story.
Right.
But they love it.
Right.
Because they were going to move to Skyride as well, if Jeffy hadn't died. Because we were going to have it going out to the sea.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That one. I mean, that way they could have built on another upstairs on the casters. And they probably would have flattened the arcade at the front and probably put a better ride there. Because I know, because the zoo part was supposed to be a water ride on there.
Isn't that different landowner, the zoo?
No, it was part of the incorporated into part of the because what they did, Blackpool, we will get the zoo, and they were going to get the go-kart track, the council. For another car park.
That's all they like doing, councils, is car parks. Instead of sorting out the train services in, everyone from Liverpool has got to drive in because... Oh, sorry, not Liverpool, Manchester.